Actually, let me get this. So for tonight, I decided that I'm not even going to talk about JavaScript. I'll just show you actually a basic script. But we're going to focus on jQuery because there's no requirement to know JavaScript in this class, and it's a lot more programming centered. But with jQuery, you can learn some powerful techniques and get to use them essentially immediately. So the focus will be on jQuery. But just a couple, I have 2 slides of JavaScript. First of all, the big picture of JavaScript is a client-side language. And so what is the relationship between JavaScript and jQuery? jQuery is a library built on top of JavaScript. So when I talk about JavaScript here, you can think about jQuery also belonging in the same category. Right? JavaScript has some limitations. It's difficult to use. It's very prone to errors, to bugs. You have to sometimes take different code paths for different browsers. And so these were all issues that were addressed with jQuery. jQuery is a library built with JavaScript, on top of JavaScript, and it's cross-browser compatible, which is very powerful, and it's very easy to use. You don't really need to know much programming. Unless you're getting into great specifics, then you do need to. All right, so again, JavaScript and jQuery, they are client-side scripting language. And where does this fit in the picture of the client-server architecture? Well, the client is on the browser side, and this is where JavaScript is going to run the code. The code is going to probably come from my website, so it is on the server, and the client is going to send the HTTP protocol request to the server, which is going to then send back the HTML and JavaScript files with a response. HTTP response, and then the JavaScript is rendered in your browser. And in case you're curious, PHP also can be here. The difference is that if you're using PHP, PHP can generate new HTML pages on the fly if you move dynamically here. And so you can just create a new page and then send it back to display in the browser. And the other difference between JavaScript and PHP is where the interpreters reside, where the engine resides. The JavaScript interpreter resides in the browser, and then the PHP interpreter or engine resides on the server side. So that's all I need to say about it. But JavaScript is a client-side language. So for example, you may want to display the date on the bottom of your page, and you want to do so dynamically so that the date changes. Something like that. So every time the user comes, is going to have a new date. In this case, you can have different formats here, but that's relevant. So this is now JavaScript. It's a simple application. And how was it done? Well, JavaScript resides always in the script tag. So if you look at the source of the page, you see script tag, that means it's JavaScript. And you can put it exactly inside the HTML. Is here, or you can link it to an external file. So right now, these are a couple lines of JavaScript, and what they're doing is they are creating a new date, and then they're displaying the date for the user. So this was the first date was created here, the current date, and then the second script is writing another paragraph, and it says new date, and then it also puts the copyright symbol. And so you can use document write as the most basic way you can write in JavaScript, you actually not use very often. But if you use document write, then you write on the browser window in JavaScript. So that's, I think, about a simple illustration as well. And if you wanted to import the JavaScript from an external file, you'd take those lines of code we have here inside the script tag, Now, script is part of the HTML, right? And then you would put those inside in different files. The JavaScript files are always with a .js extension, and then you want to, instead of put your code here, in the script tag, use the source attribute and point it to the file. And it's the same as if this code is in place. And this is JavaScript embedded in the head. I should mention that you can embed JavaScript in the header and the body of the document, in the document and the web page. This is one of the most popular DOM manipulation methods get done by ID. Nicole is in the JavaScript class, so you're very familiar with it at this point. And maybe you forgot, or you forget it. So yeah, these are some very typical methods you use for essentially being able to manipulate the DOM, the document object model with JavaScript. But I will not go into that, and I think I'd like to talk about jQuery. So jQuery has its own website, and you can go on it right now if you like, or just follow the lecture. It's very well documented. It's a great reference. And as I mentioned, what is jQuery? It's a library that was built on top of JavaScript to provide cross-browser functionality, and it's just a lot easier to use. And so there are various methods. And how do you include jQuery? You can include jQuery the same as JavaScript. It has to go in the script tab. And the two ways you can do this by either downloading a zip file and then including it. It's just a JavaScript file. It's a very big file. It's hard to read, but it's just a JavaScript file. Or, preferably in my opinion, you can link to a CDN, content delivery network. And there are all these sites that host the code for you, and you can just link to them. So in this case here, it's linking to the jQuery CDN. So I think I will start showing you a couple. And you can do it, so if you feel like you don't want to just watch me, you can look at some of these sites, or you can just watch me, it's up to you. But so we said, let's look at jQuery. And this is the jQuery site, and it has the documentation. And if you wanted to download jQuery, some developers like the idea of having control over their code, so these are the kind of people who download it from here. And if you download it, it's going to be a zip file that you need to unzip. And
then say if you did do that, then you would put it, you unzip it, and if it's to a hard drive,
yeah,
you would put that file in your folder program folder.
Yeah, you have to put it in a folder. It's just another JavaScript file again.
It's like a CSS file.
Yeah, you just put it in the folder.
Okay.
And so the other thing I wanted to say is if you want to download it, you actually want to download the compressed version, or well, you can download both, but the one you want to use is a compressed version, which is going to have min.min extension. So I'll just, so you can see from this one, actually it wasn't even zipped, I just downloaded it and we can look at it. So it allowed me to download the file, and so Maureen, you would put this file in your project folder. And if you open this file, it's not allowing because this is JavaScript here. So it's all put together. It's not really made for humans. It's called a minified file. It has the .min as part of the extension here. But again, I think it's a lot better, in my opinion, to just use a link. And so, for example, the link that was shown here was the jQuery. And there is another one I like, which is the Google CDN libraries, jQuery. And we'll probably do this. We will have to do this. It certainly is part of our code examples. But Google hosts a variety of different libraries here. And you have to scroll down to find jQuery, for example. And then you select You just have to copy the script tag and then put it in your HTML, and then you have access to the entire functionality of jQuery. So that's very easy and powerful.
Is there ever a reason you would use the 1.x and always use it?
Not anymore. At this point, I think we're using 2x.
Okay.
2x dropped some support for some versions of IE5, as I recall, or not IE5, but some other versions of IE. Otherwise, they're the same. And I waited a little bit of time. I like to just let it stabilize, but I think it's fine to use right now. And also here you can find links to jQuery mobile and all kinds of other. AngularJS is up here as well, by the way. All right. I guess I'm surprised Christina didn't talk about Angular. Yeah. She forgot. Okay, so sorry. I think I lost my slides here. So the way jQuery works, it works with jQuery selectors. And what you do is you select the element that you want to work with, and then you apply one of the jQuery methods. So it's that's all there is to it. You need to say, I want you to use, for example, a paragraph, and then I want you to, let's say, hide this paragraph, and then you hide the jQuery. And the different types of selectors available to jQuery, they're similar to CSS, right? You can select by the element type. So if I wanted to work with all the H2 elements in the page, I'd say H2 in quotation marks. If I wanted to work with only one element, I can select one element by the D, so the hashtag means ID, or the dot meaning class. Let's say I want all the classes. And that's how you select them. And so I haven't talked yet about this $sign here, but I know somebody in the classroom who knows this. Does anyone know?
I don't know what the name is. What's it select?
It's the jQuery object, and when you said PHP, of course I said PHP because it says PHP uses the $sign for that. This is in the context of jQuery, when you say the $sign, it means I'm now working with the jQuery object. So that's what it means. And you don't want to mix the jQuery $sign. If you're using the $sign for get element by ID, which is sometimes used for convenience, you don't want to mix those two. So here we're saying I'm using jQuery and I'm selecting all H2 elements in the page. And then how do you call the methods? Well, you just say dot, it's the dot operator, and then the name of the method. And the jQuery website has a reference to, extensive reference to all the possible methods. It's called API, Application Programming Interface. And so, for example, one of the methods available in jQuery is the dot value. And what it does is it gets a value from a text box. So you say here, select me with the jQuery, the text box from this font and the ID of email address, and then get me the value. And then you sign this whole thing with a silent operator into a variable email address. And that's why you need to know a little bit of JavaScript, because now maybe if you never had programming before, you're wondering of variables. Does anyone remember that? Do you guys know what this? Okay. So see how easy that is, right? And then you have the value selected. If you want to only select the text, I would rather set the text, so this is your error message. It's a lot easier to do in JavaScript, I'll tell you this. But all you have to do is select your element and then set the text, and then read the text, and now you're going to have an error message displayed there. And you can also use, there are many different methods you're going to learn. Some of them. If you wanted to, you could also say, I want to set the text for the next I'm in the email address, I want you to set the text on the next method. So if you use that next is going to, sorry, not method, the next element. Is going to find the next element in the DOM tree and set that. In other words, these two are going to accomplish the same thing. Okay? So, I mean, think about it for a moment. But if you have an email address, it's common to have a span element next to it that's going to be the error. In the DOM hierarchy, the span is going to be next to the email address. So by saying that next text is the same thing as if you say selecting the span that has an email address error. And it doesn't have to be a span, it's just the next element that's going to contain that message. So this is, again, in a way I want to show you some JavaScript so you can appreciate how easy it is. It is very easy. And this is a very common method. You're going to use it all the time. It's a primary practice. And what it does is it ensures that before you start working with jQuery, can anyone, maybe, what do you think actually this does? It's working a pop-up box in the alert. That's correct. Yes. That's exactly what it does. It's going to make sure that the entire page is loaded, and then it's going to alert the pop-up box. And you will see pretty much every jQuery program is going to be contained inside the document ready function because you want to make sure that your elements are ready before you start. And a function is a programming term which refers to a block of code. And this particular function is an anonymous function because it doesn't have a name. So it's just a sign. So how do you call the click event method for all H2 elements? If you want to make it so that when you click on an element, it shows that they have been clicked, you're going to select. Do you just want to try do this, or do you want to listen? To just go through it? Okay, because next time then we're going to do a hand. So this one is going to select all H2 elements on the page, and then when you click, the method name is click, it's going to alert. So they are all going to show this element. And this is how you put this is these here 4 or 5 lines of code. You can put them inside a script tag, and it's a program that is going to actually work. It's like a standalone piece of code, snippet of this. So again, you put all your code inside the document ready, and those dash, slash, slash, the forward slash, and now somebody's going to tell us what comments. These are comments, and the comments are important. They're ignored by the JavaScript interpreter, but they're for the developer to know what's going on. So they're for yourself or for someone else. And yes, the alert is one of the JavaScript methods that is going to give you a pop-up box. And by the way, you can mix jQuery and JavaScript if you know it. So you can use those. In fact, the alert comes from JavaScript. Yeah, you didn't miss it. It's not shown here, so this is a snippet. But yeah, actually, you have to always link before you can use it. And if it tells you $sign not found, that's one of the most common errors that I see. It means that you didn't link properly to jQuery. So the terms selector, methods, and then the jQuery event methods. And so here's one application is to have an email list where you're checking if the user entered the information. So you have to import your source to a CDN in this case. And then you import, and the other thing is you have to import the source before you import the JavaScript file, otherwise again the same situation is going to happen. Your code is going to give you an error, I can't find jQuery. So the order does matter. And then you have a form here with a span element, and this is where the error message will go. Just the form, I don't need to spend a lot of time looking at it. And this is the complete JavaScript file, the JS file. And JavaScript and jQuery, they all go with the JS files, right? So again, now knowing we have included our script here and we imported this file, inside this JavaScript file, we have the documentary which prepares the DOM. And then we select the join list. So the join list is the name of the input button. So that's where you click to submit. So we select that. And then we say, when the user clicks on the join list button, then what should we do? We would like to call the anonymous function. And that's just something you need to start doing. I can tell you a lot more about it. But you do need to use an anonymous function, which means the code is going to start executing the counters. And you're going to have to learn the syntax with curly braces and so forth. But so when the user clicks on the join list button, we're going to do the following. And everything is executed in sequence. We're going to get the value of email address 1 and the value of email address 2. And these come from the form again. Here is email address 1, it's an input field, and email address 2, right? And then we are going to get those values. So if I enter starting, Gmail is going to have that. And we store them in variable. And we also have an additional variable, which is a boolean, and is set to true. So the boolean can only have a true or false value. And what we want to double check is if the first email address has any content. So if the user just tried to bypass, that's not okay. If they try to bypass, this means that this is going to be an empty string. Essentially, they didn't put any text there. And so if this was the case, if the value we got from the email address 1 is an empty string, we don't want to continue, and instead we're going to place an error message. This field is required in the element that is next to email address 1. And let's take a look and see who this is. I told you already that. So we have email address 1. And then who is the next element? The span. That's right. It's the span. So when it says .next in jQuery, it's going to refer to the span in this case.
Next sibling.
So that's a.
Yeah. Yeah, it's talking exactly about that. It's the next sibling of the DOM. And then we also set this value to false because we're going to use it to know if we should submit our form or not. And otherwise, if there was some text here, this was incorrect, then the second line is going to be the email address one, but next to the text, we're going to set it to an empty string. So in other words, there is no error message to display, right? So this line says set the span element to empty because there is no error. Right? So because of the yes. Right? And then validate the first name entry in the same way. So the first name is one of the other fields, ID is one of the other fields, the same process. Otherwise, we set the span to empty string. And then if this is valid, is true, when you check with the if statement, if you just say it's valid, if it's valid is the same thing as you're saying if it's valid is equal to true. That's just how it works. So we say here if it's valid is set to true, then submit the form. But otherwise, we're not going to submit. And this is how we use jQuery to validate the form. I'll show you maybe one more. So also, if you want to do a rollover, well, actually, maybe I should pause. Do we have any questions here for the first example? I don't know if I should say that.
don't have any questions, I'm gonna just.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It's a lot of information. So let this marinate, and
Oh, we download the slides.
I think if you want to download the slides,
Yeah.
so they're in Google Slides, so I think you can save them as a PDF or some other format. No, I think that's like
If you add your drive, it's in your drive as a drive.
Okay, right here.
So just
Download this PDF.
Your folder that's in the week 7,
so,
unzipping, I just tried it.
so it doesn't zip for you, huh?
No, and that was the same for the last week's transitions.
And did you add it to your drive?
I did.
Okay, I can take a look. So I think we're done with the lecture for tonight, and just take a few minutes to marinate, quote unquote, more in, and we'll continue on Tuesday. And Mary, let me turn off the recording and I'll come and look at your code.